no matter the location. From O-A-K-L-A to L-V, I'm a Raider.
Raider Nation, what's going on? You guys are watching the Raiders Report. Mitchell Renz here from Chat Sports, ready to walk you through 6 players that I can guarantee are going to get a ton of hype during training camp. And I'm just going to tell y'all right now, I'm not putting Derek Carr on this list because he's the quarterback, and I wanted to give a little bit of attention to elsewhere, though he definitely deserves it. Let's go to number 6. I'm going to go 6 down to 1. The person that's number 1 is the person that's going to get the most hype. I got Yanik Goguen at 6 because he signed a 2-year, $26 million deal this offseason. Then when you talk about offseason hype, a lot of the reasons why it's going to happen is because A, a player is very talented, which Ngakoue 100% is. B, he's going to talk a lot, and I've already seen Ngakoue doing it. He posted on his Instagram on Tuesday about how excited that he is and how he's in great shape and how he just looks absolutely phenomenal. That's the other part of it. The other part is this. Media needs to talk about it, and the media has already talked about, especially Bleach Report, how Ngakoue was overpaid, how he was a bad signing, and they're drunk for going ahead and saying that. But the fact that he's not afraid to hype himself up and the fact that he's going to go out there and ball out during training camp, I'm telling y'all right now, there is going to be a ton of hype around him, and good, because this is a player that I'm telling y'all right now is going to be the best defensive player on the Raiders this upcoming season. I'm not afraid to say it. It's not a knock on Crosby. It's not a knock on Klee. It's not a knock on any of our secondary linebackers. Yannick Ngakoue is the best defensive player on this Raiders team, and he's actually, I think, the best defensive player on this team since Khalil Mack. Now, here's the Raiders' defensive line depth chart. Ngakoue, Thomas, Hankins, Crosby. You know that he's going to get a lot of opportunities. The reason why I'm showing you this, though, is because Ngakoue's going to line up on the left defensive side. That's where he's been lining up for most of his part of his career, and if he lines up on the left side, that means he's going to be going up against Alex Leatherwood, which that in itself is going to create tons of buzz, because if Ngakoue is whooping up on Leatherwood, it's going to be bad news for Leatherwood. And if Leatherwood's dominating somebody like Ngakoue, I'm going to sit here and be like, oh, okay, this is something that I'm excited about. So since I anticipate Yanik and Alex Leatherwood going up against each other a ton during training camp, who do you think is going to win that battle? When it all comes down to it, let's say they go up against each other 100 times. Who wins more of those battles? If you believe that it's Ngakoue, I want you to go ahead and type YN. If you think it's Alex Leatherwood, I want you to type AL. So go ahead, let me know down in those comments, AL for Alex Leatherwood or type YN for Yanik Ngakoue. Before I go into number 5 on my list, I do want to tell you all one more time, please go ahead, subscribe to the Raiders Report. I go live every single Tuesday, 6 p.m. Eastern Time, 3 p.m. Pacific. But if you are coming across this for the very first time, it's the middle of July. I get it. Sometimes, people are looking for Raiders content. But we keep you guys up to date, and this is why you should go ahead and subscribe to the Raiders Report. Videos literally every single day. I go live at least once a week. If there's breaking news, guess what? I'm going to go live even more. Live and interactive show. So I give shout-outs to Cordy Key, Eric Guile, Nathan, Joker Johnson. I appreciate you guys for watching. The way that all of our channels work at Chat Sports, more subs equals more videos. And did I mention that it's free? 100% free. Once the season starts also, we do these things called watch parties. So since Allegiant prices are crazy high, if you can't make it to a game, I do a watch party here so you can basically make it feel like that you're at Allegiant Stadium. You can make it feel like that you're at a tailgate at the Oakland Coliseum. Nobody else does what we do, and I appreciate everyone that subscribes. Help me get to 80K subs. I'd really appreciate it. Let's go to number 5 here on my list of who's going to get the most hype at training camp. I'm going to go offensive tackle, right tackle, Alex Leatherwood. So we just were talking about with Ngakoue, but selected in round 1, 17 overall this past year's draft. Everybody and their mother, including mine, right, even though she knows nothing about football, is like, oh, the Raiders reached on Leatherwood. Oh, this and that. People are going to be talking about Leatherwood because the media is going to go ahead and do it. And already you're seeing a lot of coaches, a lot of players hype up this kid. One of the biggest reasons why the Raiders decided to go with Leatherwood over somebody like Christian Darrisaw, over somebody like Tevin Jenkins, is because Leatherwood's ability to play multiple positions, and not only be able to play multiple positions, but be willing to. When Gruden and Mayock said, hey, what do you think about playing guard? What do you think about playing this position? He literally was like, put me on the offensive line, and I'll get it done. And I like being able to hear that kind of stuff. And with that being said, the fact that he is as athletic as he is, the fact that he is as hardworking as he is, you're going to see a lot of people give him a lot of credit. But he does got a big role on his hands, right? I mean, no disrespect to him. He's filling big shoes. Trent Brown, you can say what you want about him, but when that man was on the football field, Trent Brown was a damn good right tackle. Now, sure, he wasn't on the field a lot, but Alex Leatherwood has to say, okay, I am confident in being able to give up Trent Brown for a 5th-round pick. Vic Tafur said that was going to be the biggest mistake of the Raiders offseason. Leatherwood needs to be able to say, you know what, don't worry, guys, hold my beer, I got you. The other reason why there's going to be a lot of hype around Leatherwood, you're already seeing it. Tom Cable can't stop talking about him. Heck, a veteran, Richie Incognito, who I'm telling y'all right now, is going to be one of the Raiders' captains. And this is what he had to say about Leatherwood at OTAs. He's a big body. He comes from the storied program at Alabama, and he's done a ton of winning. A couple of national championships under his belt. He's a quiet kid. He's a hard worker. He's picking up what Coach Cable's laying down, and I expect him to have a big year. And I expect him to have a big year too. But not only do I expect him, he needs, and I'm going to say this 100 times probably on the Raiders Report, he needs to have a big year, because if he struggles at the right tackle position and I got to rely on Brandon Parker, if I got to rely on Sam Young for the entire year, I know I got brown, kind of blackish hair. It's going to be this color, and that's not what I want. So let me know down in the comments. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make this the pinned comment on today's video. So for those of you that don't know what that means, if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to get hit with a YouTube ad break. So while that ad is playing, you might as well scroll on down and comment which player you think is going to get the most hype at training camp. Number 4 on my list, I'm going to go safety Johnathan Abram, drafted in round 1, number 27 overall in 2019. The reason why you're going to see a lot of hype here out of Abram is simple, because played in only 1 game as a rookie, and then last season, let's face it, he was bad. And according to Pro Football Focus, the worst safety in the entire National Football League last year was actually Abram. But I have confidence in Abram, and I have confidence in Gus Bradley to be able to put this young man in the right positions where he needs to be able to succeed, because a cover 3 defense, I actually think, is the perfect scheme for Abram. And all the reports that you're hearing already is that he's able to pick it up. Plus, from what Abram has said this offseason, he is saying the right things. And one of my biggest knocks on Johnathan was the fact that he needed to grow up a little bit. One of the things that I took away from Hard Knocks when I watched it on 2019 was Antonio Brown, that guy's an ass. But besides that, Abram needs to grow up. And when I hear him talk now, he sounds like a totally different dude, and he's willing to take some responsibility on himself. Sure, he had 2 INTs last year, and he was okay here and there, but he needs to be more consistent. So this is what Abram had to say at OTAs, which is why I am a lot more confident in his ability, and why I actually listed him actually as a breakout candidate. I'm as strong as I've ever been this year. The goal is just being more consistent, playing under control, not really taking that many wild hits, getting myself knocked out of the game, and hurting my own body. I mean, think about this, y'all. Like, he would have never said that this last season, and now he's saying those things. That's a good sign. He also went on to say, being consistent, being disciplined, and constantly just doing my job, filling my grade sheet with pluses every day. Then every Sunday, I think my game will blossom. This is the last part that actually Vic Tafur had to say on the Raiders' best comeback candidates. Abram is the obvious pick, largely because I have faith in Bradley to use him more selectively in better spots, closer to the line of scrimmage. Plus, the Raiders have brought in a lot of safeties, and Bradley won't feel like he has to play Abram to justify him being a high pick. Pressure is a good thing. And I 100% what Tafur has to say here, but I also love what Abram had to say in terms of he's taking a lot more responsibility. He's going to play under control. And there was so many opportunities last season where he's just wandering all over the football field. And you're like, what the hell is this kid doing? And then there's other plays where he's just on the football. He's going to be up near the line of scrimmage. He's going to be able to really use his talent, and I'm excited to be able to see that. So who's going to go ahead and win Raiders Comeback Player of the Year? What I want you to do is go ahead and let me know down in the comments section. Now, I want to give you guys a special shout-out because one of our sponsors here is called Newsbreak. And in terms of which NFL channels have the most Newsbreak downloads here at Chat Sports, as y'all can see, Raider Nation's kicking ass and taking names. So I want to be the first channel that hits 100, and I want to double all these mother effers down here. So if you guys could, go to chatsports.com/RaidersNB. In fact, I want you to get out your Android, I want you to get out your iPhone, and type in chatsports.com/RaidersNB. It's then going to drop you on the App Store. Then all you got to do is download the Newsbreak app for free. Once you go ahead and do that, I need a little bit of help as well. So what you're going to do then is go up into the search bar, search Raiders, and then give the Raiders Report a follow. If you want more exclusive videos from us, if you want videos without ads, you can go ahead and you can get them there at Newsbreak. Don't tell anybody I told you. The other reason why I want you to go ahead and do that, though, is because I'm a hella competitive person, and I'm like, how do we have all these Newsbreak downloads, and then I see all the followers on the Raiders Report? We're behind a Falcons Today show, we're behind 49ers report, and then we're really behind Cowboys. I want to pass Falcons Today, and I want to go ahead and catch 49ers report by the next week or two. So if you guys could do that for me, we can do. I mean, we're losing to the Falcons. I mean, come on, man. That's embarrassing. So let's go to chatsports.com/RaidersNB, download the app, and then in the search bar, all you got to do, look up Raiders, follow the Raiders report. Let's get to 1,000. Let's pass Falcons. Let's give 49ers a middle finger, and then I can tell Tom to suck it as well. All right, let's go to number 3 here on my list, Bryan Edwards. You're going to get a lot of hype here from Bryan. He was probably the most hyped up player last offseason, I'd say, at training camp. And, I mean, you can't deny it. You watch him on the football field, he is fluid, he is easy to watch, and he is a big, very talented receiver. So with all that being said, you're going to be able to see a lot of people have their eyes focused on him. The other thing that Edwards is really able to do is make those spectacular catches. I mean, he was mossing people last season. I remember there was a report that was like, that got Bryan Edwards and Darren Waller confused. If you get anybody confused with Darren Waller, that kind of goes to show how talented you are. I can also make the point where I'm like, well, if you're getting those two confused, maybe you shouldn't be a beat writer in the first place. Y'all probably know who I'm talking about. But he is a young player. He gets better and better every single year, and you saw the talent last season. The other reason why I'm really excited to see Edwards, he's basically the one receiver that's going to stick out more than anybody else. So in terms of height and weight, you have Henry Ruggs, 5'11", 190. John Brown, 5'11", 178. Then there's Bryan Edwards, 6'3", 212. Hunter Renfrow, 5'10", 185. Willie Snead, 5'11", 200. So all you're seeing right here is like kind of undersized receivers, and there's a bigger and very talented player in Bryan Edwards. The tricky part about this, though, is this, because I'm confident in saying that it's Ruggs, as I burp, Hunter Renfrow, John Brown, top 3 receivers there. Who's going to be that wide receiver 4? I know Gruden, I know Derek Carr. They've been hyping up Zay Jones a lot. The Raiders also went out and signed veteran Willie Snead. Edwards, I actually think, has the most talent out of all these players here. The issue is this: can he stay healthy? So let me know, out of the 3 receivers that y'all see on screen, who's the best one? I want you to type BE for Bryan Edwards, type ZJ for Zay Jones, or type WS for Willie Snead. Number 2 on my list of Raiders who are going to get the most hype at training camp, it's Tre'Von Moehrig. Las Vegas Raiders traded up to select him in round 2, number 43 overall in the 2021 draft. They liked him so much that they traded up to get him. Now, was it a steal at 43? Yeah, I actually thought so. He was my number 1 rated free safety, number 1 rated safety in this upcoming draft. The fact that he was the 3rd one selected, hey, appreciate you guys for doing it. But Moehrig, you're going to really be able to see his talent in a cover 3 scheme because he's going to be that center fielder. He's going to get a lot of opportunities, and in training camp especially, this is your time where if you're a quarterback, you're going to take shots down the field. If you're a receiver, you're going to try to stretch the ball down. And if you're Moehrig, you're like, all right, well, I'm going to play center field. He's going to come away with a lot of interceptions. And I'm kind of saying that because I don't want people to be like, oh, my God, Moehrig's got 5 interceptions after training camp. He's going to be an absolute stud. He's going to have 10 interceptions in the season. That's not what I'm saying. But he is going to get a lot of opportunities, and this Gus Bradley scheme, dude, it's going to be so good for a player like Moehrig. Now, here's what PFF had to say on Moehrig and why I'm also very excited about him. Moehrig brings some much-needed playmaking ability and coverage to the Raiders' secondary, but it remains to be seen how he fits in with Gus Bradley's defense after playing in a split-field safety defense at TCU. There's a reason to believe he can have success as a single high safety with his size, smarts, and explosiveness. And I 100% agree with everything they say there. He is a phenomenal player. He's a very smart player. And when you hear all players and coaches already saying that he's playing like a veteran, that makes me excited, and it's why I'm confident that, yes, he's going to be a good fit in this Gus Bradley defense. Now, if you guys are watching this live, hey, put this in your calendar. If you're watching this on Thursday, I want you to remember that I'm going to be at Barcode Burger 1 p.m. on Thursday, July 15th. The first 50 people that show up, you're going to get some Raiders merchandise, so put that in your calendar. If you guys want to hang out with me, Virgil's Barbecue on Saturday, July 17th, if you live in Vegas. I'm going to be there from 11 a.m. to basically 2:30. Then I'm going to drive on over to Allegiant Stadium, do my tour, July 17th, 3 p.m. And then if y'all want to hang out at Beer Park with me, watch the Suns-Bucks games. If you guys want to get in contact with me, the easiest way is Instagram, at Mitchell Renz 365. I'm going to be in Vegas from the 14th to the 19th, trying to get in contact with as many Raider fans as possible. Food, drinks, talk a little Raiders football. If that interests you, hit me up on IG, Mitchell Renz 365. Now, these are some players that didn't quite crack my top 6, but are going to be honorable mentions, and they absolutely should be. Crosby, he was injured for a lot of last season, and you're going to see a lot of good reports coming out from him because the dude's an absolute stud. Foster Moreau, he was hurt all of last year, and I know that Darren Waller, who you see on screen, is also going to be a player to a lot of people talk about. You're going to see a lot of hype around Moreau, Casey Hayward, John Brown. But who is the number one player that's going to get the most hype at Raiders training camp? It's Henry Ruggs III. And he's going to get the most hype because not only has Derek Carr already said, like, this is the greatest player that he's ever practiced with. Like, think about that for a second. The greatest player he's ever practiced with. Ruggs is kind of built perfectly for training camp. And what do I mean by that? When you have 4.27 speed, it's hard to be able to stick with you. The biggest knock on him in the NFL and as a rookie was that he wasn't quite tough enough that he was getting pushed around. You don't really get pushed around during training camp, so he's going to be able to excel. Not only that, he's already put on some weight. He's been able to keep his speed, and the Raiders are going to do everything in their power to get him more involved on the offense. Now, he doesn't have to touch the ball every time because I actually hate how the media last year, even this offseason, have been like, Ruggs was terrible, Ruggs is this. Yet, when Ruggs was on the field, he added so much dimension to the running game. He added so much dimension to the offense, especially the passing game, because you just got to respect the speed. He might not ever be better than CeeDee Lamb. He might not be better than Jerry Jeudy. He might not be better than Justin Jefferson. But I do think that Ruggs gets way too much hate, and I don't know if that's 100% fair. Here's what Derek Carr had to say on Ruggs and why the hype continues to grow and grow. Man, he's been impressive. The way he's running routes, he's been violent in his cuts. I think something has clicked in his head. Just like with everybody, you play a season in the NFL, you go back and watch the tape, and you're like, wow, I know what it takes now. And you either do it or you don't. And he's showing already that he has said, nah, I'm going to go and do it. And it's been impressive. Maybe he didn't have a breakout season and a 1,000-yard season or anything like that, but things he did for us in certain moments, it's impressive. So now he knows the offense, he knows the quarterback, he knows who's around him, all those things. He's working with me after practice. I'm excited for Henry. Now he's got to go do it. And I actually think that you are going to see Ruggs be able to go out there and do it a little bit better. My projections, somewhere around 746 receiving yards. He's going to be probably the second highest targeted receiver, somewhere around 77. So who's going to get the most hype at training camp? I got Yannick Ngakoue at number 6, Alex Leatherwood at number 5, Johnathan Abram at number 4. As a reminder, if you guys disagree with any of my lists, please go ahead and let me know down in the comments, or you can give me your own list, because I guess if you made it this far, I got to be doing something halfway decent around here. Edwards at 3, Moehrig at 2, and the number 1 most hyped player is going to be Henry Ruggs.